Hi, my name's Jack Soul. Thanks so much for stopping by this YouTube video. I really appreciate it. Let me just tell you about my Worship Pedalboard 2025. So as you can see, I have my Worship Pedalboard here, and this pedalboard was actually created in collaboration with Rockboard. Basically, we created this thing called the Rockboard Challenge, where they sent out a random size pedal board and other things like modules, dual lock, pedal risers, pedal handles, the Rockboard pedal board light, lots of stuff. It was a blast. So basically, they sent out a bunch of stuff, and my task was to build the best possible pedal board using all of the stuff they sent. And it was so much fun. If you haven't seen that video, it's called the Rockboard Challenge. I'll leave a card up so you can take a look at that, and it might add some background on this pedal board, because this board really stretched me out of my comfort zone and helped me create something that maybe I otherwise wouldn't have created. So thank you so much, Rockboard, for partnering with me on that video. It was such a blast. So again, go check that out. But in this video, we're just going to be walking through the signal chain, talking about some mindset, and I'm going to show you the sounds that I've been using lately with this pedal board. First of all, I've got my wireless unit. So Rockboard has a module that's a input-output jack, but it's also a wireless receiver. So you can go wireless with your pedal board. But I was actually in the studio last weekend, and I don't go wireless when I'm in the studio, and it's super easy to just go right into the input-output jack as well with a 1/4-inch cord. But for today, it's going to be all using the wireless unit, one less cord to worry about. And also be using my Nunn Jazzmaster. This thing is awesome. I got P90s on it. I couldn't be happier with the sound. So that will be going into my pedal board. We'll talk about signal chain of the pedal board, but I'm using the TONEX 1 going right into the interface, full stereo. Yeah, so just a little bit of quick signal chain so you understand kind of what's going where before we get to some sound combinations. It goes Kernom, Protein, Fairfeild. Under the board goes to one TONEX 1, then it goes up to Strymon Deco, Chroma Console, then it starts stereo, Microcosm, Mercury X, LVX, Mood, Genloss, and then it goes right out to my interface. So I'm just going to kind of walk through some workflow of how I typically use these combinations and my mindset behind, why I choose certain combinations, and just kind of how I've structured what's going on here, because I've kind of been using bits and pieces of this layout for quite a while now, but I really got to hone it in with this last build. So here's essentially my drive tone that I'll always have on. So it's can get big, but it cleans up really well. If you didn't see, if you're wondering, I use the tuner on the TONEX or the LVX. So I find with worship music, the faster songs, I'm usually going for more of an alt rock kind of guitar tone, which kind of brings me to the fact that I use this board a lot for alt rock as well. And all of these tones intermix. So if you're wondering if these sounds kind of transfer to other genres, of course they do. But I'm going to talk mainly about worship today. So here, of course, I said here's my drive tone. And like I said, a faster song, I'll usually stick pretty close to that, add, you know, whatever I need, maybe a shorter reverb and a delay. For praise, I've been using a phaser instead of the like the heavy vibrato or like rotary sound on the track, and it's just kind of to change it up after I've heard it a certain amount of time. So, starting with the protein here has the majority of the bass tone, like I said, covered. But then I choose, if I'm going for more of a textured feel, I use the Fairfeild as kind of like a tone knob. Like I have my tone knob at full right now. But when I click on the Fairfeild, I can still get a lot of, you know, good... You can kind of still hear that. Obviously, I'm losing high end, but when I'm strumming it hard, you're getting a lot of basically... a lot of the fidelity, not all of it. But I use this if I'm kind of doing a part that I want to sit more in the background of the mix. So, without any other effects, you can tell when I pick softer, you get a really nice soft attack. If you like less vibrato, you can kind of dial that into taste. We were playing Fall Away on Sunday, so it's kind of stuck in my head. But basically the workflow on this is then, of course, we just partner it with something that makes sense for the context of the song. So this is a large hall reverb. No vibrato, because I already have that kind of covered earlier in the chain. So that just sounds like this. Very clean. And then over here on the LVX, I actually have some stuff pulled up that octave up and down, just because it's convenient over here to show you kind of how I create more of a lead tone that I want to sit back farther in the mix. Maybe put on some delay. So again, without the shallow water, here's kind of how that sounds. So I maybe have the shallow water, like kind of go full blast with some lead, with the protein, Mercury X, and you know, maybe the delay. And then as we're kind of getting to the end of the song and want some lower vibes, I maybe change to the shallow water. If you are kind of more into that too, I find when I take off the high end, add that low pass gate that's really special about the Fairfeild. You can achieve that different ways, but it's really special on the Fairfeild. I find I can get away with, you know, a little bit more intricate, groovy riffs because it's in the background and it sounds a little bit more tasteful maybe when I'm playing it with the Fairfeild rather than it's just kind of a little bit more in the background. I even have tried to explain the Fairfeild that I kind of use it almost like if my regular guitar was like a grand piano. I kind of feel like the Fairfeild turns it into an E piano, just like kind of has that softer, more approachable sound that just fits into the background. But just going back to the Kernom here, if we're going the other direction, a more full tilt rock, alt rock kind of start, I have this hooked up to the expression wheel here, and just hear that background noise. But as I surf across, so that just super big, it kind of chokes out as I get closer to 10. And 10 is kind of like got a bit of that voltage drain vibe to it. So I love to kind of just go full tilt with topping out my interface a little bit there. Yeah, so Kernom is kind of set up for that wild card drive position, and then putting the ODR1 just adds a little bit more to the so you saw the Deco, which was phaser, and I typically have the Chroma Console set up for vibrato. And so this is basically like put on a shorter reverb. lots of stuff with the Chroma Console, and ultimately it's just available for, you know, those things that I just need or want per set. So there's lots of stuff. I love the fuzz tones that come from it as well. So with the Chroma Console, and let me know if in the comments if you think this is underusing the Chroma Console. But I do have several presets of different things I enjoy. But the thing that I enjoy the most about the Chroma Console is the haze setting and just kind of setting a pad to play behind. So I'll usually start that actually with the shallow water. And just grab that. And then that gives you just like such a, you can, you know, click on some more reverb, because now my playing is going unaffected by the microcosm by intention. So I can throw on a bigger reverb. That still does affect the sound from the microcosm, but I don't find that it, you know, does anything that I don't like. And then I'll put on the Genloss. Very low effect, except I turn up the saturation just a little bit. Just to give it a little bit of character. And that pad, I can create those so quickly, and that almost just feels like more of a constant reverb for me as a guitar player. Just see how it just kind of fades into the background. Turn up some wow and flutter for fun. You hear that? Just sounds so good, but when I play it, it fades into the background. And basically, again, I'm not using this pad, you know, for the whole band per se, you know, to kind of set that larger tone. I'm using it just to fill in the background of what I'm playing, so I can play more sparsely, and it just sounds really good. So if your pad, again, if you enjoy doing this like I do, if your pad feels a little bit sterile, I usually revert to the mood to just capture a little bit of a thing, put it in reverse. You can even speed that reverse up. Make sure the mix is low so it's not too distracting. But there you have a little bit of an extra, little bit of sauce to play around with. And trust me, if you do that right, it just does sound it. You got to practice it at home to make sure that you can do it very consistently without getting any weirdness going on. Like if you play too hard into that pad and then catch it too quick, it's too intense. Right, so you gotta play it softly, and then you gotta let it ring out for maybe a second before you capture it. And really anything sounds good. I have a little bit of reverb on the mood too. So that's pretty much a quick rundown. If you watch other videos, I show you more of the delay sounds from the LVX. Have some more dotted eighth over here, which is my favorite. Just a shorter tape delay. It's not going to get in the way too much, and another shorter delay. I think one or two, I think 3 repeats there. So ultimately, I tried some things. The last part about this video is I'm just going to tell you some of the things that I would change about this build. I haven't changed anything about it since I built the original Rockboard challenge board. It's all the same. But here are some things that I would change or that I've been noticing. So basically my amp and cab sim is after my overdrives, obviously, but I kind of neglected to remember that when I'm using an amp and cab sim and I use it kind of at the beginning of the chain after the drives, kind of like an effects loop. I thought that'd be really cool and I really wanted to try that, but it just doesn't work as well in theory. Because anything that's like drive distortion style after the TONEX 1 sounds like it's direct, and I have never used it like that, so that was kind of unexpected for me. So I think I'm probably gonna go Fairfeild right to the theremin and then use my amp and cab sim, work out a solution for end of chain again, because I just enjoy that. I just enjoy that more at the moment, at least. And which has also created the problem for me. I've used the Strymon Iridium in the past at the end of the chain, and the Iridium has the ability to turn the amp and cab or the IRs off, and you can still sum your signal at the end of the chain from stereo back to mono if I'm running 1 amp, which I still do mostly live. I run mostly mono when I'm live, but I record and do YouTube videos in stereo just because it sounds so good. So that's been kind of a problem. The last couple of times I've done that, I just went out of the left channel and it sounds fine, but I think I'd just rather have like a more conclusive fix at the end of the chain to make sure that everything's summed back if I need that to happen. Just as an example, kind of here's fuzz. Let's see here. Here's fuzz, but it's after the amp and cab sim, right? Which, to be honest, is kind of a vibe. There's more and more experimental direct sounds happening out there, and it's interesting. If you wanted that and you wanted to know kind of how to get that, maybe that's a strategy for you. Put it after your amp and cab sim, and it just sounds gnarly. But anyway, this has just kind of been sounds that I've pulled up since kind of creating this rendition of the pedal board. Let me know your thoughts. Hit the comments. And again, thanks so much for watching. Watch that rig build Rockboard video that link in the description for that. Such a great video. I'm so proud of it. I'd like to see it catch some more traction. So thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.